Or just default kind of human nature with that. But also, I mean, Assad wasn't invading. And it was his own country.
It was a civil war.
Factions within his own country.
But that's coming in the 13th year of the United States engaged in that part of the world. And I absolutely know, I mean, I know firsthand that when that kicked off in Syria, there were a lot of people, kind of me sort of included, just rolling my eyes going, that place. From here, pretty much from Morocco to Pakistan. I don't want to hear any news, over it because I don't get to go to Eastern Poland in uniform. I don't get to go to Denmark or Norway. No, I go to places where really horrible stuff is happening, and everyone's covered up. I can't see what you got going on there. So anyway, it must be nice to be in Poland. But so I think there is some of that. I admit. I think that's the honest truth of it. That this looks like our country, and we're seeing this happen. Back in a second. It is AM 770 KTTH, where the State of the Union address can be heard tonight at 6 p.m. from Fox News Radio. So that'll start at 6. AM 770 KTGH. Brian Suits here, and also here at 6 p.m. is the State of the Union on Fox News Radio, and Ukraine will be front and center, and maybe even bigger than the president intended. Now that Belarus is in on the party, and it all began apparently with the LARPer, the Stalin-era cosplayer, Lukashenko, addressing his nation in front of an invasion map. And apparently he told the people of Belarus, I mean, first of all, what kind of a dictator are you that you think you need to address your people anyway? But so he said that Ukraine had missiles aimed at Belarus and they were going to launch in 6 hours. So that's even, again, this is a guy that when Putin renamed the KGB, the FSB, Lukashenko said, nah, I'm good. Nah, KGB works. I don't want to waste money on a new branding. So I don't want to rebrand this. This is not Coke Zero. No. We are KGB. This is it. Let me see what he's actually in a suit and tie, not in a military uniform, and he's doing the Bond villain thing. This is Blofeld. This is Spectre. Everyone is at a seat and a mic, and they're not 20 feet away. But let's dip in a little bit. And he has a map of the region, and it's Belarus and Ukraine, and he's pointing to parts of northern Ukraine, and he's saying that those scheming Ukrainians are going to come and pluck Belarus like a ripe apple off a tree. Because who wouldn't, really?
Допуска ракет мы это обнаружили, и россияне у нас Искандеры находились здесь на позиции.
This is so throwback. This is so analog. He's at a paper map, and he has a wooden pointer. This is the best. I mean, besides the fact that, it's September 6, 1939 all over, but I mean, besides that.
Well, and speaking of that, we spoke of President Zelensky's Twitter account earlier, where he has 4.2 million followers now. Typically, he uses the platform to say thank you to Boris Johnson, thank you to Olaf Scholz, or any kind of leader who's showing support for his country. He thanks them. But 14 minutes ago, he just sent out this tweet addressed to the world. What is the point of saying never again for 80 years if the world stays silent when a bomb drops on the same site of Babian Yar, at least 5 killed, history repeating itself? This is more of a direct plea from the president, which to me is a signal that things are getting even more desperate.
Yeah, and he's talking about a massacre that occurred during World War II, and that the Russians attempted to kill him coming up on an hour ago, and excuse me, and it's coffee coming up. And so because the guy is such an active Twitterer, that's why, I had seen he hadn't tweeted in 2 hours, but he knows that what Putin just tried to do is take him out, whether he's in the intelligence headquarters, the governmental headquarters, or state media. And they figured, well, he addressed the EU from a TV place, and he was in a bunker in a T-shirt. So let's try them all, and he did. And so they hit Ukraine with weapons that they've spared since the beginning of this. Besides hitting command and control and air defense things, which you didn't see, it didn't happen on TV, but this did. So we'll see. But so this is a bit of a headline. And I know no one at MSNBC listens or whatever, but you might want to get on this because the expansion, the growth of the war by adding another enemy, which if I this time yesterday I was pointing to the fact that the United States had a couple different surveillance systems in the air specifically looking at Belarus. And there was also good information from on the ground. And because you don't line your army up in a column pointing into another country unless you intend to tell the lead driver to start going.
Nikki Haley, who may or may not be making a presidential run here in the next few years, was on Fox News just moments ago.
Tyrants say they're going to do something. We should learn the lesson. They're going to do it. Russia said they were going to invade in Ukraine. They're doing it. China said they were going to take over Hong Kong. They've done it. Russia says they want Poland and the Baltics next. China has said that they want Taiwan next. Iran says they want to destroy Israel. We need to take these evil dictators at their word because they're serious. And God help us if we don't take them seriously now because we're watching our mistakes happen. We can self-correct. But we've got to grow a spine, we've got to get strong, and we've got to start calling out these dictators for what they are.
You think she could go toe-to-toe with Putin and Xi? That's too long of a pause already.
I think she could, actually, yeah. I think she understands who she's dealing with. I think. And so we'll wait for. I'm not getting any BDA. I'm not getting any reports about dead. But also, there's another report that TASS announced for people to get away from the National Intelligence Headquarters of the Ukrainian Intelligence Service, which would be. And then, so of course, they're going to crow about that all day long about how humane they are and the whole thing. 5 killed, 5 wounded in the strike. That's from the State Emergency Service, the one that I played about an hour ago or half an hour ago of the airstrike on national TV. And sure, somebody else could be tweeting on Zelensky's account, but he has a tone. The guy's a comedian. He's really funny. When his reaction to the American offer to evacuate was, I need ammunition, not a ride. That was brilliant.
He understands media. He understands entertainment. He understands this moment. And more importantly, fighting a war in the modern age, technology. Putin is famously technologically inept. So it's really one of the things that Ukraine has going for it right now is a leader who understands how to communicate and understands how to use all the tools available to him to rally support. This whole thing about Ukraine joining the EU, one of the reasons these countries were so quick to help Ukraine was an emotional phone call from Zelensky where he just poured out his soul. And it was convincing. It sounds like it was persuasive.
And also, by the way, who is sent to kill you is a mark of where you are on their list. The guy that Putin installed in Chechnya after he leveled Chechnya and said, let's get good Muslims in there, and the crazy ones, let's pay them. It's a guy named Ruslan Kadyrov, crazy guy. That idiot Steven Seagal goes there, and so anyway, the craziest people in Chechnya, who used to be in the Russian army years ago, by the way, have all of the training of the most elite former KGB hit team. Putin sent them to Kyiv to kill Zelensky, and the Ukraine security service announces that these guys are all dead, and they took photos on their cell phones. The Chechens did. It's a Porsche Cayenne. These two guys are standing at the back of a Porsche Cayenne, and with their finger in the dust in the window, they wrote "to Kyiv," not Kyiv. These two Chechens, who are amongst a team of guys that the Ukrainians knew about, probably because these guys were posting on TikTok. But so anyway, follow me at Dark Secret Place, and I'll give you some updates all day long. 6 p.m. State of the Union right here on KTTH. Thanks to Greg, the producer. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, AM 770 KTTH. The price of it goes up, which is kind of how business
We're
works.
getting an education on this morning's show.
Oh, God.
The facts, just the facts, Jack.
Well, Ukraine, you see, is a country in Europe.
Ukraine is a country in Europe.
There you go. Right here, as you see, Greg, I'm holding right here the old-timey trucker hat handed to me as I graduated from the Washington State University.
Love the trucker hats.
And right on the underside of the bill, it says inflation is a function of money supply. And it was, you know what was so funny last week? You know who thought this really was like an old-timey hat? It's a new hat. I bought it in Portland. It's not. I haven't seen it for
Hold
sale
on,
in
you're
Washington.
Misrepresenting the hat. Is it illegal to have one that looks like a throwback, but it's really just been made?
I can only assume that someone who's from the Cougar tribe made this.
There's some law out there.
Yeah, and I had to hand over much Cougar gold for it. No, it was only like $15. So anyway, Cougar great, Michael Bumpus last week. I was hanging out with him and my boy, Paulie Moyer. And he said, that is a cool hat. Is that like from the late 80s or something? And I went, no, it's from Saturday. And so thank you for taking me down Tangent Town. So
it's a good hat. You can celebrate it.
Here's what Joe Biden, who again, his bio is available for everyone else to read. If he has 5 minutes in the private sector, that would be 5 more minutes than Kamala Harris. And so anyone who's ever run a business or anyone, and you know what, your family, your home is a business. There's revenue coming in and your labor is being traded for the revenue. And then the money comes in and if you have a working spouse, you add it up and you subtract that annoying food that has to go in your kid's head hole all like 3 times a day. Your home is a business. You're running a business there at home and you're trying to minimize costs. Sure. But there's no wages in home. But so anyway, this is why there's inflation. And I had to rewind this 3 times. This is the president's understanding of the things that affect inflation.
She didn't have people making those beams that went into buildings because they were out. The factory was closed. The panic also disrupted the global supply chain. Factories close. When that happens, it takes longer to make goods and get them to the warehouses, to the stores, and prices go up.
He clearly didn't write it himself. He's reading someone else, but he's kind of onto it. That when production slowed down, there was a lot of people with a lot of money chasing after stuff we used to be able to just buy. So of course the price went up. He's getting close there.
This would be called supply and demand.
I think it's supply and demand.
Break out the econ books.
Yeah, you're mispronouncing.
Cars last year. 1/3 of all the inflation was because of automobile sales. There weren't enough semiconductors to make all the cars that people wanted to buy.
He's right.
And guess what?
Yeah,
prices of automobiles went way up.
He's right. He's absolutely correct on that so far. When it comes to